Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Sri Gyan Manjari Vidyapeeth for the students of Standard 10, in which we are learning the subject of social science. Students, from the previous few lectures we have started with chapter number 13, which is the part of the geography section of this syllabus. So let us take a quick recap of what we have learned in this chapter. Students, this is lecture number 3 for chapter 13. Name of the chapter is Manufacturing Industry. This particular chapter is bearing quite a lot of importance because lots of things to memorize are there. Objectives very easy to pick up from here, and it can be quite difficult, and lots of descriptive type answers are there where you need to memorize names of things, places, industries, etc. Another map work is also included from this chapter, so you have to actually mark some of the places in the map where a particular industry is located. So in that way, this chapter is very, very important. It's quite easy also, but at the same time, we have to score marks from this chapter. So the more you prepare this chapter in a better organized manner, then chances are that we can score fully from this chapter. So let us take a quick recap of what we have learned so far in this chapter. We have learned first thing is to know what an industry is. So what is an industry? The process in which man can change the natural resources into usable condition by using his intellectual capacity, his cultural upbringing, the culture that is present in the country, plus the economic capacity, all put together, that is known as industry. Then we learned about the importance of industry. Today, no country can go forward or advance, progress, develop without industry. Industry is called the backbone of the economy of that country. So those countries which took right from the start lots of focus on industrial development, those countries are well to do now. They are considered as one of the most developed countries in the world. And those countries, because of their poverty, unemployment, lots of other problems that prevailed in the society, for example, orthodox thinking, or they were under some foreign rule, there was no freedom for that, lots of facilities were not provided, progress was not allowed by the rulers. You can take, for example, India, where the rulers, British rule, the British rule was present in India, that did not allow Indians to progress in the field of an industry, because if we started producing, then nobody's going to buy the things produced by England. So in that way, they destroyed our economy. They destroyed the people involved in lots of industries, and they did not allow the establishment of industries. So we were quite late. In this way, industry holds quite a lot of importance in the economy of a country. Industrial development started very late because of the foreign rule in India. India was quite rich and prosperous, that we knew right from the Indus Valley civilization. We have proof of that, that lots of industries thrived in during those times. That means they were not only catering to the local need, but they were also exporting. Lots of buyers came from outside the country and benefited from the prosperity of India. So India was quite rich and prosperous in the ancient time just because of the industries. Then some of the few industries that got established during the uh, foreign rule also, and we have to analyze this. So first few industries, for example, uh, uh, before 1853, if we are going to talk during the pre-era, uh, uh, after the Britishers gained rule and started conquering most of the parts of India and brought whole of India under their rule. Before that, iron ore was present. People knew about them. They also had uh, uh, improvised upon the local ways to turn or to take iron from iron ore, that is the filtration, that is the separation of iron from iron ore, but it happened in small furnaces. Now in 1853, India got its first iron melting industry that was charcoal based, and it didn't run for quite long and it failed because of the British policies. Then comes the turn of first cotton industry in India. First cotton textile mill was established in 1854, that is Mumbai. A jute mill was established for the first time in 1855 at Risra near Kolkata. 1874, we got a first blast furnace, that is at Kulti in West Bengal, in for making iron ore. Iron from ore, which was closed after a few years, again it got restarted in 1881. 1907, Jamshedji Tata established Tata Iron and Steel Company. In brief or short name is TISCO at Jamshedpur, which opened a new ways for iron and steel industry. The textile industry was completely ruined in India because of the British policies that we have seen. Next, classification of industries that we learned. The earlier lectures, industries that are based on human labor, ownership, and source of raw material. These are the three basic classification that we do. If we are talking about raw material, human resources, or sorry, human labor, then large scale industry and small scale industry. If we are talking about ownership, that is further divided into private industry, public industry, and cooperative industry. If we are talking about raw material, then source of raw material, then there can be two, agro based and mineral based, that we looked at. Then we looked at some of the most important questions in the agro-based industry, that is cotton textile mill. When it was established, what are the reasons why the industry got developed in Bombay and then in Ahmedabad and then it spread around the rest of the countries. Today, what is the situation of that? Means how many cities in India are having up, at least 100 cities in India are having cotton textile mills in them. What are the favorable conditions for them? What is the downside of this industry? That is, what is stopping this industry to develop fully, or some hurdles are there, right? So got to remember all of it. Then you got to remember two, three important things: Cottonopolis, Manchester of India, uh, denim city of India. These are the important terms that should be in your answer, right? Which are the important plates? Which are the important states in which, for example, Gujarat, then main city is Ahmedabad. Apart from that, which are the different cities in Gujarat where cotton textile mills are established and which are quite flourishing, right? Same way, Maharashtra. Apart from Bombay, which are the rest of the uh, cities in which the industry is developed? Same way, MP, it has few places. Then UP, then Tamil Nadu. So in that way, state-wise, because if we get a map work, you should be remembering the names so that you can mark that in the map, that this city over here is an important city in South India, uh, which is an important center for cotton textile industry. Same way, jute textile industry, 80% of the jute is produced by West Bengal, 10% which state? Rest of the state 10%. So which are those states, right? And names are also given, right? So that way. And what is the position of India? Second largest producer, largest exporter. So we need to remember all these things. Which are the favorable conditions? Why jute industry has developed only in West Bengal mainly, right? Why it is favorable? Same way, silk textile, right? Quite an old business. Yes, we have been growing. We have been uh, having silk for quite a long time, producing it since lots of centuries, and this is quite an old business. There are at least 300 uh, silk textile mills in India, and these are all the plus points. Which are the important four types that of silk that India produces? You should be able to remember those names and put down that in answer. Then the drawbacks, today's drawbacks. What are the drawbacks? That silk industry is still not developing. Only one reason is there. We have a quite a tough competition with China. Now, let us go ahead with the agro-based industry. Still more is to come. Now we start with today's lecture. Woolen textile industry is the next one. Uh, Wool we get from sheep, right? So as a cottage industry, history of woolen textile industry is very, very old. Yes, of course it is this. cold season has started now and we need warm clothes to wear, usually made out of wool. तो 5,000 साल पहले भी ठंड पड़ती थी तो लोग गर्म कपड़े पहनते थे. So it's quite an old industry. In India, maximum woolen mills are located in Punjab and then in Maharashtra. So you have to remember these two things. Largest woolen textile mills, Punjab. Second place, Maharashtra. These mills are also present, woolen mills, they're also present in lots of other states like Uttar Pradesh, Ahmedabad, Jamnagar in Gujarat, Bikaner in Jaipur in Rajasthan, Srinagar in Jammu Kashmir, and Bangalore in Karnataka. So these are the important places where woolen textile mills are located. India produces woolen clothes as well as carpets. Our woolen cloth is exported to America, Canada, Germany, France, Russia, etc. All of these, they are quite uh, cold climatic places, and we export our woolen textile clothes over there. Next industry we came to is synthetic textile industry, a very, very important industry after cotton, jute. The next important one is silk, right? The next important one is synthetic textile. Now, the fiber. What is the what do we call when we say synthetic textile? What do we actually mean by synthetic? That is the meaning. The fiber made by men artificially. Yes. Now we have fibers that are produced naturally. For example, cotton is a natural fiber. Jute is a natural fiber. Same way, silk, natural fiber. Right? Woolen, natural fiber. Now, the fiber that is made in a factory artificially, that is known as synthetic. Without using natural fiber, that is called synthetic fiber. So first thing is you should define what is synthetic fiber. You should know the definition. It's quite easy. It does not use any natural fiber and it is made in factories, that is artificially. Synthetic fiber is used in making ropes, nets, clothes, etc. Right, ropes we understand. You small string is there where we hang our clothes, plastic, made out of plastic. That is not actually plastic, but that is synthetic, right? Ropes are made out of synthetic fiber. Next thing is nets. The जो net fishing वाला net है चाहे कोई भी net है, right? So it can be made out of synthetic fiber. Clothes are also made from synthetic fiber. Now the clothes that are made, they have different names, right? For example, we wear shirts. For example, your uniform shirt, it is 60-40. That means it contains 60% cotton, whereas 40% is a mixture of synthetic fiber. Yes, that is why it gets dirty, but it can be washed easily because synthetic fiber is there. Ironing is quite permanent on it. Yes, it doesn't get any wrinkles. So cotton cloth, you will always have wrinkle, but if there is presence of synthetic fiber, it will become wrinkle free. So less need of ironing it. So synthetic fiber is used in making ropes, nets, clothes, etc. Now, what are the good things or good qualities about synthetic fiber? Yes, because synthetic fiber, it produces a drawback for the natural fibers. Natural fibers, they always have a competition with synthetic fibers. For example, cotton textile, jute textile, they will have a permanent competition with synthetic fibers, right? Now, why do we use synthetic fiber? Because it is strong. We can increase, decrease strength according to the need of whatever we want. According to the need, we can increase, decrease the strength in synthetic fiber because it's made by men. So we can do it. We can add gravity. It is durable, long lasting, and does not wrinkle. That is what we discussed. Hence, the industry based on synthetic fiber has grown quite much. Now, this is also what we explained just now. By mixing cotton fibers with synthetic fibers, we produce mixed variety of cloth. It can be 80-20, 80 of cotton, 20 of fiber. synthetic one, or it can be 60-40. 60-40 is usually the natural one. Yes, that is used almost all the places for textile, right? So Kerala, now for synthetic fiber, Kerala is written over here. That means Kerala is leading in synthetic fiber, right? So Kerala, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, etc. They are the leading states in synthetic textiles. Surat, Kanpur, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Kolkata, Chennai, Modinagar, etc. They are important centers. That means they do not produce that much synthetic textile like these cities or states, but in those states or in all the cities, for example, Surat, Gujarat, Kanpur, UP, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Ahmedabad, Gujarat, Kolkata, West Bengal, Chennai, Tamil Nadu, Modinagar, etc. They are important centers of. So when we have to mark, say there is a question in map marking that mark a place producing synthetic fiber, or mark a place producing synthetic textile, then you can mark any of the cities that are given over here. So these points, they are quite important as far as map work is concerned. Next we come to sugar. Now sugar is also agro-based because sugar is produced from sugarcane. India has long been involved in making jaggery from sugarcane juice, right? Before we started making sugar, we were already using jaggery, yes, out of the sugarcane that was produced by the farmers. So India has long been involved in making jaggery from. Jaggery is good or gold that we say. In agro-based industry, sugar comes second after textile industry in India. So if we are talking about all the agro industries, so if we are talking about agro-based industry, right? Textile is one type of industry where you can have cotton textile, you can have silk textile, you can have jute textile, you can even have synthetic textile, right? That is one type of industry based on agro. So if we are talking about the different industries that are based on agro, then now we are coming to food product, right? That is textile. Now this is food. So after textile industry, sugar industry, it comes at second place as far as agro-based industries are concerned. It is necessary to extract the juice of sugarcane within 24 hours of reaping it so that its water level does not decrease. This is very, very important. Yes, we all know that sugarcane grows in sugar field. Obviously, you can't get it on the moon. So sugarcane has to grow in the fields. Yes, and we have lots of use of it. For example, we make sugar out of it, we make जैगरी आउट ऑफ इट, बाकी गन्ने का जूस पी जाते हैं, थोड़ा बहुत बचता है वो दांतों से हम खा लेते हैं, right? So there are lots of uses of sugar cane. Now once the sugar cane is reaped from the field within 24 hours, otherwise what happens, there is lots of water content in the sugar cane. We know it, गन्ने का जूस पीते हैं तो उसी में से आता है, right? But जितने दिन पड़ा रहेगा उसमें से water content evaporate हो जाएगा. So finally when it is crushed, you will not get more juice out of it because water content has evaporated. The sugar which is in the sugar cane, you will have less if water content is less. You can extract liquid, then if you extract maximum liquid, you will have more sweetness in it, that means more sugar. So as soon as sugarcane is reaped from the field, harvested from the field, immediately tractors are filled up and they take it and make a queue in front of the sugar mill, and immediately within 24 hours the sugar mills, they accept your sugarcane, pay you in cash or whatever, and they start crushing it. Because within 24 hours the water content will remain maximum. After that, if it stays in the open, evaporation will happen and that will be a loss to the sugar factory, because then they would not be able to extract more liquid from it, and so it will affect their production. So this point is very important to note and keep it in mind. that it is necessary to extract the juice of sugarcane within 24 hours of reaping it so that water level does not decrease. If the water level of the sugarcane decreases, फिर हम गन्ना खा लेते हैं, बाकी कोई यूज रहता नहीं. It will give less sugar, right? So sugar factories are located. Another important point: where will sugar factories be located? Within 30-40 kilometers of the sugar producing area, so that 30-40 kilometers hardly take half an hour or 1 hour for the tractor to reach over there, right? So all the farmers nearby who are producing sugarcane can immediately reap the sugarcane and make it reach to the sugar mill as fast as possible within 24 hours. So the sugar factories are located where sugarcane growing centers are there or farms are there. Sugar factories are located in Maharashtra. So Maharashtra has to be leading because the name comes the start. So Maharashtra is leading in terms of growing of sugarcane. Uttar Pradesh is also there, but production किसका ज़्यादा है? महाराष्ट्र का ज़्यादा है. Uttar Pradesh, though it produces more sugarcane, then also पता नहीं खा जाते होंगे, इसलिए उनका नंबर 2 पे आता है. महाराष्ट्र leading in sugarcane, no, sugar factories, right? So what I mean to say over here is production of sugarcane, Uttar Pradesh leads the country. Maharashtra comes at second place, but as far as sugar factories are concerned, sugar factories are more located in Maharashtra, so production will be more. So Maharashtra produces more sugar than Uttar Pradesh, though Uttar Pradesh produces more sugarcane than Maharashtra. Yes, and there is a basic difference. Apart from that, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, everywhere sugarcane grows. So, etc. That means. But these are the leading states. In Gujarat, especially remember Bardoli, Ganadevi, Olpad, Vyara, Bharuch, Kodinar, Thalalagir. These are the famous places where sugarcane grows in huge quantity. There are lots of sugar mills located around these places so that farmers can instantly reach the sugarcane over there and sugarcane be made because the sugarcane has maximum water in it. So next we come to paper industry. Quite small but very, very necessary. Now this is also agro based. Why is it agro based? Because it gets its raw material from, though not agriculture, from forest, right? But lots of other things are also required. Yes, and it is organic based, right? So it is agro based. Paper is made out of softwood, bamboo, grass, molasses. Molasses, when sugar is crushed, what remains is molasses, right? Andhra Pradesh leads the country in production of paper. There are lots of paper producing industry mills in Andhra. So Andhra leads the country in paper industry, followed by Maharashtra, followed by West Bengal, then Odisha, Karnataka, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu, Haryana. Lots of states are there because basically it is because most of these states they have quite a lot of forests, quite a lot of farmers that are interested in producing softwood. Special trees are there which are considered the best for the paper industry. So farmers are encouraged to grow these trees wherever they find space in their farm or on the sides of the farm, and within 3-4 years the tree is good enough to be cut and taken for use for making paper. First paper pulp is made by crushing it, adding water, and then it is passed through rollers to flatten it, dried, and we have paper. So most of the states of India, they are considered quite good for producing paper. So Andhra Pradesh leading, second largest is Maharashtra, third largest is West Bengal, then in that sequence followed by Odisha, Karnataka, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Tamil Nadu, Haryana. They are the important centers for paper industry. Now we come to the second part of this chapter, that is mineral based industry up till now we had been learning agro-based industry. The first one in that sequence is cotton textile, next comes jute textile, then comes silk textile, then comes synthetic, then comes paper. So these are all mostly based on agro, right, agriculture. Now we come to the second most important section in this chapter, that is mineral based industries. So let us quickly take some introduction about it. Those industries, what is a mineral based industry? What is the definition? Those industries wherein minerals are used as raw material. Yes, only those industries which use raw material as minerals, they are known as mineral based industries. Industries such as iron and steel industry, which uses mineral, that is iron or iron ore, then that is mineral based. It doesn't have any organic base, right? Vegetation based. So it is completely based on minerals that is got from the ground. We use the soil which is rich in iron. So that is the meaning. Industries such as iron and steel, very important, complete 4 marks. Aluminum industry, complete 3 marks. So these are very important parts of this chapter. Yes, because you have to remember in certain order, in certain sequence, right? So industries such as iron and steel. Next is aluminum industry. We are going to learn this, and there will be complete questions, independent questions, 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks on these industries. Copper, chemical, fertilizer, cement, means of transport, and electrical goods. They are all mineral based because they do not use any organic product. They use only minerals that are got from the ground. First thing to learn is iron and steel industry, one of the most important 4 mark question in this chapter. Yes, it can be asked for 3 marks also. You have to reduce some content and write it. So, iron and steel. Iron is one of the most important mineral of the modern world. If you do not have iron, then your industry base is quite low. Iron is found in abundance all over the world because our core, the earth's core, is made up of iron. Most of the part of mantle that is outside the core, that is also iron, and some other mixed mineral, but iron is found in maximum quantity, right? So mostly each and every country has in more or less quantity iron. And if we see in industry, whether you want to make a machine, you are making an aeroplane, but to make an aeroplane you need machines to make parts of that aeroplane. Those machines are going to be made out of iron. We have lots and lots of use of iron. Yes, you make a ship. Earlier days it was made by wood, but nowadays it's made by iron, right? So from a small pin, if you say a paper pin, right, or a safety pin, from there to gigantic machines, whatever you make, iron is the most important metal on this earth. So iron is one of the most important mineral of the modern world. So iron and steel industry is the basis of the modern industries and economic development. The more iron you have, the more iron and steel industry you have, rest of the industries are dependent on that, right? So it holds one of the most important industry in the country. So iron and steel industry is the basis of modern industries and economic development. You want to make a factory, but you need lots of things made out of iron to make that factory, right? Construction work में iron चाहिए, machines iron चाहिए, right? Whatever you make, most of the things iron is used. So iron is very important for economic development. It also falls in the category of basic industry. That means और कुछ हो ना हो, ये एक basic industry आपके पास होनी चाहिए. The country's economy starts developing once iron and steel industry becomes an important backbone of the country. So key industry, what to remember over here is it is a basic industry or it is a key industry. As I said, आपको कार बनानी है. There are lots of countries where cars are not made because nobody has a technical know-how about how to establish a car factory that manufactures cars. if you want to make a car, you need lots and lots of things made out of iron. Whether you are in a cement manufacturing unit, but to establish that factory, you need lots and lots of iron. You need lots and lots of machines that can crush all the other minerals that you need in order to make cement. So whether that is machine, construction, whatever you do, you need iron and steel first. So it is considered as the key industry, or it is considered as the basic industry of the country. So it falls in the in the category that this is the basis of rest of the industries, right? For example, uh, when we got independence, what was the key thing that we needed? We needed wheat and rice to suffice to the needs of the people. So the main focus was on areas producing abundance of wheat. So there are more chances, because all the necessary environment needed for growing wheat is already available over there. You only have to develop it. So if you come back to mineral based industry, you need iron first, iron ore, then you need all the technical know-how of separating iron from iron ore, that is removing the impurities, and then converting that iron into steel, or using that steel for lots of purpose, for establishing other industries, for doing rest of the infrastructure work. Yes, आज जो टेलीकॉम के टावर्स मिलते हैं, मोबाइल के टावर्स मिलते हैं, बेसिकली यू नीड आयरन टू मेक दैट स्ट्रक्चर स्टैंडिंग, राइट? सो iron is considered as the basic industry, or it is the key industry on which machines, construction, rest of all the activities depend. The process of making iron is very old in India. This we just discussed. So what is the meaning of this is, you have to write a systematic answer, and that is what those 4 marks are meant for. Right? So you have to arrange all your points in some systematic order as it is given over here. It is also available in the material. So remember in that way. We have already discussed that before the Britishers came, before they established the first charcoal based iron melting industry, before they established the first furnace based iron smelting industry, even before that, when the kings, etc., when the Britishers were not there, French were not there, Portuguese were not there, the kings and the emperors were ruling at that time also, the metalsmiths, they had small furnaces with them, and they had the technical know-how of where iron ore is present, how to separate iron from the impurities, and how to make different uses of iron. So the process of making iron is quite old in India. In olden times, people of Damascus used to buy iron from India to make swords. To make their swords, people of Damascus, they used to import iron from India. Perhaps they did not have. They are also iron was available, but it was of not that good quality. So they had to depend on India. They used to buy the iron needed for making swords. They imported from India. That means the quality of iron, or the quality of iron ore that is present over here, is of the highest quality. Today, very important, and I'll give a star mark over here. Please remember this. India ranks 5th in the world in iron and steel production. As we have discussed earlier also, most of the countries, iron is common mineral which is found throughout the world, and that is why it is cheap also, because it's not rare, or it's not available in few countries only. For example, gold, diamond, they are available in few countries only, right? So iron does not fall in this category, because iron is available in abundance all over the earth. So most of the countries, they have iron with them. So amongst all those countries, India ranks 5th in the world in iron and steel production. Yes, Now we already know some of the things, but now we come clear with that. The first factory in India to produce iron was established at Port Nova, Tamil Nadu. Here it is written it was closed down due to some reasons. We already know it, right? The first factory in India to produce iron was established at Port Nova in Tamil Nadu. However, it was closed due to some reasons. Yes, it is not specified. We did not know it. Now, we understand when that was 1853, right? Next, we already know this. 1874, India's first blast furnace was established at Kulti in West Bengal for making iron from ore, right? In 1907, this also we have learnt earlier. Jamshedji Tata started Tata Iron and Steel Company, in short, which is known as TISCO, at Jamshedpur for large-scale production of iron and steel. Then large-scale industry factories for iron and steel, where this is very, very important, and please remember the names because you got to mark them in the map, right? For example, large-scale factories, that means not on a small scale. Iron and steel is produced in a very large quantity. Then these are the names: Burnpur and Durgapur. Both of them are in West Bengal. Now we can understand because iron ore producing area is nearby, right? It is not that iron ore is found in say Jharkhand or West Bengal, and we bring iron ore in trains and bring it to Gujarat, and we establish iron and steel industry in India, which is in Gujarat, which is dependent on iron ore brought from West Bengal or Jharkhand. Financially, it will be costing more, and iron rate and the iron which is made in Gujarat will be costing too high because of the transport cost involved, right? So if these factories are established in Bengal, that means West Bengal, it has quite a good quantity and quality of iron ore found in West Bengal or nearby states, that is Bihar or Jharkhand. So the transportation is quite fast, and they can get a regular supply of iron ore. So Burnpur and Durgapur in West Bengal. Next, Bhadravati, Karnataka. Bhilai, Rourkela, Bokaro, Vishakhapatnam and Salem. These are the different please remember these are names of places, right, which you got to mark. Yes, it's available in your material, so you can have a look later on. Yes, all these places are marked. Bhadravati, Karnataka, okay. Bhilai, Rourkela, Bokaro, Vishakhapatnam and Salem. Out of that, Vishakhapatnam you'll find it in Andhra, Salem you'll find it in Tamil Nadu. A mini steel plant has been found near Hajira in Gujarat. Mini steel plant. That means it is not a large scale, but it doesn't come under the category of small scale. That is why large and small ke beech mein mini. That means it produces a little bit, because iron is found in Gujarat also. No, not that good quality, right? But then it's found. So the factory can be fed with the iron ore that is found in Gujarat, where iron content in the soil will be more, and it can be economically viable to use that as iron ore or the raw material. Now, the process. All these things make this question quite a lengthy one, and you got to remember all this. Iron ore. What are the things you need in order to make iron and then steel? So iron ore you need, without which you cannot make iron. To separate iron from the rest of the impurities, because in that soil, say 60% is 50-60% is iron, then that means rest of the 40-50% is impurities which you don't need, right? So you have to separate iron from the iron ore. So for that, two things are needed, very, very important: limestone and manganese. Along with, the first thing you need is coal. Coal and limestone, they are mixed in the furnace. Coal and coal, that is coke. Coke and limestone, they are mixed along with the iron ore and then put in the blast furnace. In the furnace, because of the intense heat that is given to it, the iron, when it reaches melting point, it will start melting and whole of the furnace will be in a molten state. And coke is present over there, limestone is also present over there. When coal catches fire, limestone is present and it bursts, right? So that bursting separates the iron from the rest of the impurities, right? And manganese, when that iron you want to turn into steel, you need manganese. So basically coal, limestone and manganese, these are the three raw materials that are used for producing iron. Out of that, the most important one is of course the iron ore. Iron ore is the basic, and other things needed are coal, limestone and manganese. The administration of all iron and steel factories except that of Tata, that is TISCO, is done by, very very important thing, Steel Authority of India, acronym or short form SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited, SAIL. I should be capital over here, sorry. So administration, now we know whatever is found under the ground belongs to the government. Iron ore is also found under the ground. It's a property of the government. And misuse now, it can have a proper supply. Government can have a proper supply of iron ore, iron, etc. So most of these minerals, they fall directly under the command of the government. All the mines, they are owned by the government. Small big mines according to the necessity are sold to individual. Now we have already discussed in the previous lectures also that Tata Iron and Steel Company is that is TISCO. TISCO owns quite a larger mine areas personal on, that is the company owns it. And after we got independence, another authority was set up, that is Steel uh, Authority of India, that is SAIL was set up. इंडिया के जितने भी बाकी के आयन माइंस है, आयन फैक्ट्रीज है, all of them are directly controlled by SAIL, right? So administration of all the iron and steel factories except that of Tata are under the complete control of SAIL or Steel Authority of India. India ranks, we have learned this already, 5th in the world in the production of iron and steel. So students, we come to a stop to today's lecture. We'll continue with the chapter in the next lecture. Thank you, students.